You're watching the PlantX Vodcast. Join us as we explore the inner workings of all things plant-based and all things PlantX, from the products and lifestyles to the people behind them. Now welcome our host, the man who combined his love of e-commerce and the plant-based lifestyle to create PlantX, Sean Dollinger.
Hey everyone, welcome to the PlantX Vodcast. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us here. To our new viewers, new investors, thanks again for joining and learning what PlantX is all about. Today we have Ben Bailey on from Chomp. Fantastic chocolate bar, vegan obviously, and their packaging is really remarkable, completely different. As our CMO, Alex, always says, it's incredible, the innovation in the vegan space, not only in the products themselves, but the packaging. And when you walk around one of our stores, it literally feels like a wonderland. And that's why we've started our vegan wonderland every single week or two in our different stores around the world. Before we have Ben on the show, a little bit about what PlantX is all about. We're your one-stop shop for everything plant-based. So if you're looking for meal delivery, groceries, new products, plant-based products for your pets, cosmetics, pretty much anything you could think of, you could find it in our catalog of 5,000 to 10,000 products, constantly growing. And not only are they available online, but we have stores in Squamish, Toronto, Ottawa, 2 in Chicago, 1 in Venice Beach, California, and a beautiful location in Israel that had an unbelievable event there this weekend, grossing the most revenue we've ever done out of there, and just bringing new eyes and ears to the story and to the store. So it was amazing to see, and the vibes were absolutely awesome. Just one other piece of news before we jump on with Ben. PlantX officially acquired Vegan Essentials. The domain name has been registered and operating for about 20 years now. The domain registered over 20 years. I believe the operation about 18 years, came with a couple 100,000 customers. And we're just looking forward to introducing our catalog. Our team with Athar on the development side has taken the old technology, already onboarded it the day it was closed to Shopify Plus. Go check it out, veganessentials.com. The website absolutely flies. So as shareholders and investors, I think you could be really proud with a company that just started 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, and now owning the oldest and if not the busiest domain in the vegan space, veganessentials.com. On that note, Ben, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sean, thanks so much for having me. This is my first podcast. So
amazing. Well,
I appreciate you being a supporter of Chomp from the beginning last year. So.
Yeah, no, thank you. My kids love it, and it's such a fun product. Forget about it. Tasting great. The first thing you need to do is get people to reach for it off the shelf. But before we jump into all of that, we always start our podcast by asking our guests, Ben, how do you take your coffee?
I am a cold brew, 12 months a year kind of guy, just black. Cold brew every day. Yep.
Love it. Awesome. Definitely when that's on the menu, sometimes I do reach for that in the afternoon, especially on a great day. So Awesome. Maybe you could speak to us a little bit about Chomp, how it began, the path to it, etc.
Yeah, I'll try to give you the long story short, but Chomp was born on a random path. I was working in the Broadway industry, which has nothing to do with chocolate or being vegan. But over in New York City, I'm from Oregon originally, but I was over in New York City working in Times Square on Broadway, doing marketing, advertising, and producing. And I love entrepreneurship, and I'm an entrepreneur myself. And I took a day trip over to Hershey, Pennsylvania. So this is kind of cliche. Got really fascinated with Milton Hershey, his story. amazing town out in the middle of nowhere. The street lights are shaped like Hershey Kisses. It's just really, really fascinating. Milton Hershey essentially brought milk chocolate to America in the late 1800s. And so got really fascinated with his story and then started making chocolate because, I don't know, I just get really obsessed with entrepreneurs and kind of mimic them. Started making chocolate at home, family and friends. But chocolate is kind of a commodity. There wasn't really a need for another chocolate company. I wasn't yet vegan. Flash forward to 2 years after that day trip to Hershey, Pennsylvania, moved back to Oregon. I come from a very small town, and a family of farmers. My mom's side actually homesteaded in Oregon in the 1850s, and we farmed grass seed and green beans. Noticed a lot happening with the climate. Wildfires were happening over here in the Pacific Northwest. And then kind of confronted my food and the fact that I'm eating animals and how they're being farmed. And so for a multitude of reasons, I went vegan. And flash forward a little bit further, trying to make this the short version, but just to give you context, I was on my way to a movie, actually a drive-in movie by my house. And I stopped at the store, and as a vegan, newly chosen vegan lifestyle, I was looking for something that was like a grab-and-go milk chocolate type satisfaction. And at the time, I could only find dark chocolate, which is totally fine, but I wanted something that was a grab-and-go, eat all of it in one sitting kind of chocolate. And I thought, man, the plant-based milk market is so huge right now. The next step is definitely going to be applying these plant-based milks into other products like confections and baked goods, and figuring out how to recompose the dairy milk with these plant-based versions for chocolate. That's kind of when it hit. My love of chocolate and my fascination with Milton Hershey connected to the vegan lifestyle and trying to recreate. It's basically all coming down to trying to scratch my own itch and be able to have peanut butter cups and really good milk, creamy, sweet type chocolate again. So that's when I really saw it as an opportunity as a vegan to do something good for the planet, the animals, and then also to be able to eat chocolate myself. Started making chocolate at home. 260 days later, because each batch of chocolate, if you're making it all the way from beans, cocoa beans, which is what we do, 260 days later, I had a recipe I thought was good enough to pursue this venture. And then I leased the space, built the factory you see behind me, and I think I'll stop right there. And I think that's kind of the in a cocoa shell. That's what the story is for Chomp.
Yeah, I like that. And I think when you build something out of passion, that's essentially where PlantX was born. And a lot of the ventures I've had in my life, it typically gets that following, especially if you're doing it for something you truly believe in at the end of the day. So I do think that's great how the company came to be. And I've met you a couple times now. And again, when you create a product that's so amazing like yours, and not to mention competitors, but the first vegan bar I had was Hue Chocolate. I was in New York, and they got bought, as I think just shy of $1 billion, and they came kind of out of nowhere, and their product. And when you try their product, your product, it starts making you scratch your head. Why do we need dairy in products? Why do we, these sugars and all these different things when something so simple could taste so amazing? And
it really does come down to in my head, I was like, how do I don't want to jump the gun here, but in my head, I was like, how do I crack this? How do I make a milk chocolate that's plant-based, that has that same creaminess, sweetness? And really, it just comes down to that composition of milk. And I overthought it way too hard at the beginning because the final Chomp product, it definitely was not easy to create. But once I had a mind shift, it's like, okay, milk is mostly sugar, fat, and protein. And those things are actually readily available from the earth. We can just actually replace those exact percentages that would be found in the milk chocolate, lactose. We got the sugar, we got the whey protein, and we got the milk fat. So we think our chocolate will have the same texture, sweetness, mouthfeel as a milk chocolate. It might have a slightly different taste depending on what we're using, because we're not using whey proteins, things like that. But whether it's cashew milk or oat milk or all these other things, it really came down at the end to ratios, which is a whole nother story. But reforming the composition of milk, as I think many of us in the vegan community have found out, is actually, I won't say easy, but it's really doable. It's really doable for pretty much anything, as we're finding out. And I think just the innovations over the last couple of years in the entire space have been amazing.
Yeah, I think reprogramming the human brain to see all these different alternatives, because we were programmed over the last 50, 100 years that, hey, we need dairy, we need animal products, we need all these things in order to survive and have power and energy and all these different things, which obviously is not the truth, as we all know. So you hit a little bit on the 101 of making the vegan bar or vegan chocolate in general. How many SKUs do you guys have? I know you just spoke about having some new machinery, which you're super excited about. What's next for Chomp?
Yeah. So going back to the composition a little bit. So like what we've done essentially is just find, different sources to recreate, the milk chocolate taste and feel. So right now we have an oat milk chocolate, which we just switched to from our cashew base about 5 months ago. That was always my goal because of sustainability. So oats, we actually get our oats from Kentucky. It's more local, which is really nice. So we want to support farmers still. We don't want to take away from farmers, with my background especially. But yeah, so we launched essentially last fall with 3 SKUs, just basic mainline proof of concept items. So we have our original bar, which is just a regular chocolate bar. And that's our oat milk base. And that's just those of you who are wanting just a straight chocolate shot. It's about 22% cocoa. For context, something like a Hershey bar would be maybe 11%. So it is a little bit darker, but still way more on that milk chocolate, spectrum. And then we have our Pop Star bar, which is our crispy rice crunchy bar. So that's the same chocolate, just infused with our crispy rice. So that's our second one. And then the third one, and definitely the best seller as of now, is our Nut Pucks. Yes, we went with that name and we're sticking to it and we're very proud of it. And that is our peanut butter cups. And peanut butter cups for me are really one of the main reasons why I started Chomp, other than the mission, I would say, on the taste and chocolate angle, as far as wanting to have my sweets. Peanut butter cups, to me, I love them, always loved them. And so we make our own peanut butter in our factory as well, because we're super picky about that. So we have those 3 items. They're kind of our 3 main SKUs. But I think we might discuss later, we do have many, many SKUs in the works as soon as we can increase production capacity. And we are, as you mentioned, installing new equipment actually today. We've been waiting on for a few months from Italy, and it just arrived. So we're going to be 2 to 3x increase in production in the next couple of days here, just with that equipment. So we're excited to get more equipment hooked up, make more chocolate, so we can free up some space to have these other SKUs that are already formulated. Even the packaging is done for some of them. We just haven't had the production capacity and space to add another product in our lineup, because we are the manufacturer. We're not using the co-packer, which I think is another special thing about Chomp, is we're actually making our chocolate all the way from cocoa beans, so we can control the taste. I'll stop there. I don't know if I think I'm getting ahead again, but those are the products.
The beauty about an organic live vodcast, it really goes anywhere, dog barking, all these different things going on. But for conversation purposes, the whole idea, which we love about these vodcasts, is we never know where it's going to go. The guests, obviously, we have some type of partnership with, or sometimes we don't even. And Alex does a great job in going out there, communicating. Christian does a great job, who you met earlier in the show. But the whole idea for us is, one, to obviously share with the community, whether they're vegan or not. The whole idea originally for PlantX and the inception and the birth of it was to make everybody feel welcome. So what you're sharing here today, I think, is great. Like, there's things I didn't even think you would do, which is from the bean to the bar. I think that's awesome. And I got all excited there for a sec when you said you guys make your own peanut butter, because it brings me to the idea of going into Whole Foods with the peanut and you push it and it makes the peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you don't need the oils or anything, the natural oils from the peanuts themselves and in that organic process just work. So no, it's great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And, for any of the live viewers today, please give positive, any type of feedback that we could improve on. You're taking time out of your day to join us. If there's any guests you ever want us to bring on, please be active. Today we'll give away a $100 PlantX gift card. It's been super popular this year. Last year we would just give away things on the show, but this year people being able to go on our site, check out the process. Everybody's been blown away by how easy it is. And hopefully they go ahead and order a bunch of Chomp bars because they're delicious. So that $100 gift card, send an email to Sean, SEAN at plantx.com if you are chosen today as the winner. And we'll get that out to you. So we spoke earlier, Ben, before the show about experiences. And I'm just so thankful. Maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I've been singing a different tune on the brick and mortar space. I'm an e-com guy, 20 years, that's all I know. And I always found it funny, Tesla, they have all these showrooms and that's how they grew speed. And then Apple had I call them education centers more than sales centers because you went and started playing around and understanding what made their operating system so good. Yeah. And here in the plant-based space, because it's so new, we're seeing the traction every time we have an event. So many people are coming out, and it could be the most basic event. Today, this past weekend, we had a matcha tea event where they spoke about the birth and the ritual behind it and all of that. And I know Chomp has done something really special. I don't know if it's Willy Wonka or, what direction you guys have gone in, but maybe you could explain a little bit, and because that really catches our interest over here.
Yeah, well, and going back to what I was saying is we built our own chocolate factory. It's a vegan chocolate factory, but we are literally making chocolate from cocoa beans. So we're roasting. Imagine walking into a factory. It's all glass walls. Everything is visual to the consumer. You can walk around the whole building, look inside, see that peanut butter spinning in those big vats. They're called melangers, these stone wheels that are spinning and grinding the ingredients over and over again. The smell of roasted cocoa beans, watching employees pour bars into molds and send them down the line, unmold them, package them. So just the smell and the visual is an experience. And chocolate should be fun, and that's why we're packaged the way we're packaged. We like to say that we have a serious mission, but we don't want to take ourselves too seriously, because at the end of the day, consumers want to eat chocolate, feel good about themselves. There's a chemical in chocolate called theobromine, and it's scientifically proven to give us the happies, right? It's a happy chemical. So we want people we don't want to shame them and hey, did you know most cocoa is, sourced by slave labor, but that is a super educational thing that if we don't, communicate to our audience that I feel like it's our, one of our missions to do that. But we're choosing to do it in a fun and experiential way where we're not trying to shame them, but we're trying to just give them the information, give them the experience, get them invested in the company and what we're doing. And also just, come in, as soon as you smell the chocolate, your guard goes down and you just want to be away from all the trouble. So it is this weird dichotomy of education because, one of our missions, besides being a completely vegan factory and company forever, is also our sourcing of our chocolate and our cocoa beans and how much work goes into this even before we get it. And we put it through this completely crazy process. It's multi-step just to get from step one to a chocolate bar. It's about 48 hours in our factory just to get a chocolate bar out, and so there's this big process. But going back on track a little bit. So we've built the factory in a way where you can come in, you can take a tour. We have organized tours and we do mix it a little bit with the whimsical and the Willy Wonka. We're having people, we have these tubes, I think Christian just showed, where the beans actually transport from one tube to the next. So you can see it going from station to the station. We do have some whimsical looking machines that are cracking the cocoa beans and then sending them down other tubes and, taking them to the next step. So it is very experiential, whimsical. But we do mix in a lot of education about why we're vegan, why we're roasting our own beans, why sourcing is such a big deal in the chocolate industry. So we do imagine over time to make it more and more experiential as we grow as a factory when we have more space. I'm actually putting together something right now. This is the retail space behind me. We're going to have a pneumatic tube, like those old mail carriers that you have in warehouses. And we're going to have a kiosk where you order a bar, and it's going to go through this like whirly, whirly gig of tunnels and tubes and arrive at you in the retail place. You can see it going in these tubes through the factory. So I mean, we have a chocolate factory, and why not use it in the funnest way we can? We're going to open it up too, also for school field trips. And for me, I fell in love with factories, and then I felt shame about it just because of what we're taught growing up about, going to college and all this stuff. But I remember going to my first factory when I was in grade school, having a great experience. It was a cheese factory here. It's called Tillamook. I want to get people excited about what we're doing and just chocolate in general. So we're trying to add experiences as we grow as a company together. But it's been a lot of fun. It's also been a good way for us to grow and for people to find out about us. And we just had our 1-year anniversary party at the factory, and we had, sometimes you just don't know where, it's not the biggest town here, and we had 800 people come through. Wow. To just love and support us. And, the line was all the way around the building. And it was just really nice to see that not only people support us, but knowing we're a vegan company, sometimes there's some stigma that comes with that. There's a lot of people with different backgrounds and different beliefs and different, big farming communities around us. But farmers, everybody, a lot of people are talking to me, telling me, hey, we really like what you're doing, and we think it's a sustainable way forward. And we think that that this is a really, really good thing. And these are people from different backgrounds and different cultures and different religions and everything. So I think I'm really excited at what I see, because I think people, especially in the Pacific Northwest right now, are going through, I can see smoke out my window right now. This never used to happen from wildfires. It's just been really crazy. So that's the factory experience. We have a retail store. You can come in and just buy chocolate, but then you can also take tours on the weekends, and we take you in the factory actually, and you get to go through step by step with the process that we're doing with our chocolate.
Yeah, I think that's so fun and completely unique and different than what a lot of people are doing. And your whole thing with smell, a good friend of mine was a top baker and had a few shops over in London in the UK. And that was a big thing they'd play off in the morning. They'd make sure that the windows were open in their factory and their kitchens to make sure that the scent went through the streets and people would walk in and get it. So, yeah, I think you're onto something incredible. Sometimes, 30 minutes is tough to fill with you today. Obviously, we could go on probably for an hour speaking about all the exciting things you guys are up to. And that's truly what I love about the space we're in is, entrepreneurs like you who never thought they would be in the space of making a vegan chocolate bar. And look what you've created from an idea, and what it is today is truly remarkable. And like you said, in just 1 year, can't wait to see where you guys are in 3 to 5 years from now. So, congrats on all the success. And we do have a couple people who've wrote in today. So hopefully you have a few more minutes to answer some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I just appreciate your support. And, we're a very small bootstrap kind of company. So I appreciate, you giving us the opportunity and believing in our company. It means a lot to us. So.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for working with us. Obviously, you're limited on the flip side on the supply that you guys have and your capacity. And we, really appreciate you guys choosing us as a partner. Let's see what we've got here. How many employees do you guys have over at Chomp currently?
Yeah, so we're a pretty small team at the moment. We are 7 people, including me, so 6.5. And that might change soon. Since we got this equipment, we are planning on adding another shift to the factory, but that'll probably jump up to 11 or 12 here in the next couple months.
Yeah, awesome. One thing that I've learned over the last couple of years, and especially in the public markets over the past 5 or 6, you're always trying to, on the public side, grow your top line revenue as quickly as humanly possible. But at the end of the day, bottom line is what's truly important. And I think that you're being responsible in what you guys are doing and growing slowly, I think is phenomenal. So great job on that.
Yeah, I think that's important too, to just maintain quality, and it's a balancing act. You want to take opportunities for growth, but you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot at the same time. So yeah, we're learning, and I imagine in the next year we'll be 12 to 15 people. That's kind of what I think in my mind, but we'll see.
Okay, great. And then we've got here, and I think you touched base slightly on this. You have 3 SKUs. Any plan for a 4th?
Yes, we do have one that we've offered seasonally, or by that I mean when we have it, and that's our cookies and cream bar. We have a really, really good vegan white chocolate, which is kind of hard to do. So we have that cookies and cream bar. It's ready. The packaging's ready. And then allegedly I'm working on something like a Snickers bar at the moment. And we have 2 other SKUs that'll be coming down the road, but I imagine it'll be the cookies and cream, then the Snickers type bar. The future for us, I feel like, obviously chocolate bars, but candy bars. I think that we wanted to prove our concept with our chocolate. And then I think candy bars are going to be a big focus, if not next year, but down the road for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't think I've tried vegan white chocolate yet, so I'll be keeping an eye out for that. So
yeah, I know hoping after the new year, so hopefully.
All right, I'll check it out. And Ben, I know how busy you guys are over there, how busy you are over there. And I just want to be respectful of your time. The last couple of questions are directed towards PlantX. So, on that note, Ryan Fletcher will be the one who's winning the $100 gift card this week. Thank you for being active on the chat. Send an email over to Sean, SEAN, @plantx.com, and we'll make sure to get that over to you. Ben, look forward to coming over there and exploring your factory. Can't wait. And thanks again for joining us today.
Yeah, come out anytime, and thanks for having me today. Really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. Cheers.
Yeah.
So a couple other questions. Great guest. Hopefully you guys see the energy and the diversity that comes into the field. Everything from, I think Ben was day trading in New York before this. It's everybody has a story, it seems, who's entering into the plant-based space. And I think that's why it's just going to keep growing, accelerate. And that's the reason why it's here to stay. So we had Barbell Fitness write in, when are you bringing back X Fitness? So X Fitness is still part of the platform. If you're X VIP, which any of you can be, just go ahead and join up. We're doing it totally for free. We all believe at PlantX that fitness and the way that you carry yourselves through your life, not just plant-based eating, is very, very important. And that's what we're trying to do with the whole X Fitness platform. The team over at New Spark did an amazing job on that platform. And go ahead and explore. Like I said, it's 100% free. If you have any problems signing up, you obviously have my email. And then we had Ryan Fletcher write in about the CTO, which I'm sure our viewers today know the stock was halted. And, at PlantX, I constantly speak about how great everything is and how quickly we're growing and the team. And we don't really focus on any negatives because truly there's not many to discuss. There's some growing pains, obviously, from a company that was just started 2 years ago to having, I believe we're up to 14 different verticals. And what we call a vertical is, for example, Squamish would be one, PlantX would be another, Vegan Essentials would be another example. So, within the company, you got to understand as an investor and shareholder, you're not just tied to one company. You're not just tied to just one direction. For example, Bloombox, when we purchased it, which is our plant subscription business, was going crazy. And why was it going crazy? And this is something I even overlooked was, well, everybody was stuck in their houses. We never knew when people would be able to leave their homes again. And plant subscription, what else are people going to spend money on? They want their homes to look beautiful. And we saw this gigantic spike, not just in items around the house, but even home prices around the globe went up because people decided, hey, we should invest in where we're living because we don't know how long we're going to be in these spaces. And to be completely honest, we saw Bloombox sales fall off a cliff after COVID, but thankfully, we have many verticals at PlantX. Well, part of the flip side of that, and again, this is something that we overlooked, and just to make sure, I forget who made this comment, Christopher, about that I owe an explanation. Please understand, at the same time, I'm the founder of PlantX. There's a management team and a board in place, and even the board, who has 100+ years of experience. No one realized the challenges that it takes to consolidate so many companies. And I get asked a lot about e-com. I could tell you guys everything from A to Z in building an e-com website, from fulfillment to product sourcing to anything you want. I consider myself an expert. As far as accounting goes, I don't even have access to our bank accounts here at PlantX, nor should I. I'm, like I said, a founder of the company. So Lauren, who's a great accountant, has an auditing firm in Toronto, who's the CEO of the company, has never witnessed the challenges also on consolidating so many different companies. So, we've had reassurance that everything is going well. Everybody's working really hard. Obviously, I can't elaborate too much, nor do I have the privy, or have I spoken to the auditors directly. But I am extremely confident that we'll get through this very quickly. And please understand that it only comes from how quickly we've grown. And again, nobody gave us the advice, hey, just be careful with all these acquisitions because it could lead to a delay in getting the audit complete. So believe me, no shortage of effort going into this. And again, stay tuned. We're still going to be broadcasting here weekly. We're still growing this company. One thing is unrelated to the other. And all I could say is thank you for believing in us. Thank you for taking the time to join us here each week and to share the story of PlantX. And if you haven't got to go out to any of our stores, please go out there, experience. We're having a pumpkin carving event this Sunday in Squamish. And let's just keep the positive energy going and the positive vibes. Until next time, stay curious, stay planted, stay healthy. Cheers.
Thanks for watching the PlantX Vodcast. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more information, go to investor.plantx.com. See you next time.
PlantX believes in a plant-based future for our health and the health of our planet. We've created a unique online shop for everything plant-based. Our intent on positioning globally is the core of our vision for investor accessibility and corporate growth. Learn more at